I have enough fire in me from last year to really go in on this story right here. So it has just come out that they have declared the two cunt bitches who are responsible for killing Devante Hart and his siblings by running their SUV off of that cliff last year as a murder-suicide. There were two possible outcomes: suicide or murder-suicide, and they decided to go with murder-suicide. And that is exactly what it should have been, because that is exactly what it was, a murder. I see it more of it being a murder, because these two raggedy cunts took away these kids because they didn't know how to take care of them. I remember seeing a picture of Devante Hart, and he was crying, and he was hugging a cop. And we in the black community made fun of him. We said that he was a coon in training, and we didn't know what he was going through, him or his siblings. We didn't realize that was actually him giving a cry for help, and we didn't know that he was dealing with a lot of issues in his home. And we always asked, where was his parents at? And we found out who they were. But the point is, we made fun of this kid, and we did not know what was going on until it was too late. Then all these other images started to pop up. I remember I posted one on my Black Junction last year, where his so-called parents had him parading around on stage wearing these outfits, or in the home wearing these little underwear, walking around, prancing around like he was some kind of an object. And for all I know, they probably molested that boy and probably his siblings. And we never knew about it until it was too late. Even the neighbors were concerned what was going on with his family. And damn DSS, because they did not want to look into it. And they didn't decide to look into it until the day they died. That's what drove these two bitches to run their car off the cliff, because DSS was finally taking heed to the warning signs. They were coming to get those kids. And by the time they decided to come and get them, it was too late. When they ran that car off that cliff and I had found out about it, and we put all the stuff together and said that was the boy that was hugging the cops, and he was the one on that stage, like, it tore me up. Because I realized that we were making fun of a boy who was literally crying out for help. He was in deep trouble, him and his siblings, and we didn't see it. Had we seen it, something probably could have been done sooner, and we probably could have done something to save not only him but those siblings. When the reports had came out that they had died and that he was missing, I said, I want to be optimistic, but I don't think he made it. I even read in the article that they said one of the siblings was so decomposed that they could not determine the cause of death. I'm sorry for getting emotional about this, but when this story first broke, it tore me up. It really did. Because here are these beautiful little lives right here who are gone because of two wicked individuals. I don't give a damn about those two. I don't. As far as I'm concerned, those two bitches can rot in the deepest, darkest, hottest places of hell for eternity. I don't care. But if they wanted to go out, why didn't they just take themselves out? Why did they have to take those kids with them? They were innocent bystanders in all of this for years. I even remember when they were saying how their biological grandmother was trying to get them back, but the adoption agencies would not let her get those kids. But the minute that these two white women came and said, we can take care of them, they gave them to them, not even realizing that these two women had a history of abusive behavior before they even got these kids. They didn't do a background check, or at least the one that needed to be done, but they were ready to grill the grandmother, and they didn't let the grandmother, who was well better fit to take care of those kids, since their biological parents couldn't do it, the grandmother was prepared to do it, but they ran her through the system and didn't allow her to take those kids, but they gave them to the first two white chicks that they could find, not realizing that these two bitches were unstable as fuck. And then putting kids like that in an unstable environment when they came from an unstable environment, and they just made it worse. I cannot get those images out of my head. I just hope that wherever those kids may be, that they are at peace right now. They deserve it, because their life has been nothing but one big hellhole since they've been on this earth. They've never had a moment of peace until now. And it's unfortunate that it took their death for them to get it, and that they can't get it while they're alive. I bet their grandmother is probably tore up about this. The system is terrible. It really is. But I offer my condolences to those children, the family members, those who knew him or knew them, because they didn't deserve this. They didn't deserve any of this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to really get choked up about this, but like I couldn't hold back. Like this shit, I can't stand to see something like this happen to our kids. Something that could have been avoided. But that just shows you right there, the system doesn't care about our children. Because you saw how quickly the system gave them to those two women, and didn't even know that they were handing them over to two of the biggest monsters on the face of the earth. Meanwhile, they could have gone to a stable home with their biological grandmother, somebody who knew them, someone blood related, but they treated her as if she was a complete stranger, and as if those two women were their like some kind of biological relation. It's sad. It's sick. A lot of black people say, why don't black people try to fight to get black children? Here you had this grandmother trying to fight to get her grandbabies, and they didn't let them have her. They didn't let her have them, I should say. She went through the system for months, weeks. They only went through it for a brief time, and they got those children. Those kids would still be here if it wasn't for them. And like I said, there were so many warning signs, but we didn't pick up on it. But I'm glad that, they made the right decision declaring this a murder-suicide, because murder first. Because that's what they did. They murdered these children. I have nothing more to say right now. I'm done.